Jungkook is a super rich college dude who insulted you in public for being poor. And now, in order to seek your revenge, you are planning to garlic Jungkook. I walked along the smooth marbled floors of the airport. After Jungkook asked me to go on a holiday with him, I started to laugh. But when I finally realized this stupid was actually serious, I wasted no time in giving him a long list of reasons why I couldn't go. But Jungkook managed to come up with some kind of dumb argument for each and every one of them. For example, I told him I couldn't go because I would miss work. But this guy did himself call my gym and argue a case of why I should get time off work. My true reason for not wanting to go was plain and simple. Jeon Jungkook scared the hell out of me. Soon enough, Jungkook and me came to a stop. Here we are, gate 15 to Greece. Come on, let's get to our seats. I followed behind him. We passed by a large group of people who sat lazily in chairs, and I was confused, wondering why they weren't boarding too. Hey Jungkook, I'm confused why we are the only people boarding. Because first class board first, Jungkook said with a smirk on his face. As the words first class left his mouth, I genuinely felt my knees grow weak. First class? You got me a first class ticket? That place really exists? Yes, YN, first class really does exist. Stopping, I immediately took my phone and started texting Jimin. What are you doing? Duh, I'm sending a text message to Jimmy. I quickly stopped myself, remembering that in Jungkook's eyes, Jimin was my ex. I'm sending a text message to Jiwoo, my cousin. I corrected myself. Jungkook seemed to buy this. I am convinced that you are secretly a 5-year-old trapped in a 19-year-old body. Without even looking up, I raised my finger up while I finished sending my text. A second later, Jimin texted saying, "Are you trying to make me cry? You lucky girl. But anyway, enjoy your alone time with Jungkook." I smiled and wished Jimin was also there with me. When I told Jimin about how Jungkook was forcing me on a holiday with him, he had cheered and thrown a packet of at me. According to Jimin, this holiday would be a good wake-up call for me, realizing Jungkook is my boo. What did your cousin say? Why are you smiling? Jungkook asked as he started to lean over my shoulder. Nothing, I said out quickly as a faint blush rose to my cheeks. Okay, whatever, weirdo. Let's get going. Tickets, please. The male flight attendants called out as we approached him. Jungkook handed over our tickets, and the guy took them off him without taking his eyes off me at once. I then watched him look the guy up and down in disgust. So, are you guys planning on staying in Greece for long? We are only staying for. Would you hurry up and check our tickets? We haven't got all day. Jungkook said rudely, completely cutting me off. I glanced over at him in surprise. The guy nodded his head awkwardly as he hurriedly checked the tickets. All is good. Have a good. Jungkook snatched the tickets out of his hands before he could finish and rudely marched past him. I sent an apologetic smile at the attendant. Once we reached the end of the jet bridge, Jungkook didn't even wait for me to catch up with him. He said something briefly to the red-haired attendant at the door. "Hey, Jungkook," I called, annoyed that he was leaving me alone. I must have looked a little confused as I entered through the doors, as a red-haired lady gave me a comforting smile. Don't worry, your boyfriend hasn't wandered off too far. He's heading to the seats behind the curtain on your far left. Oh, he's not my boyfriend, I corrected quickly. Really? That's strange. He told me that his girlfriend is right behind him, so not to bother recheck her ticket. Oh, well, I must have misheard him then. Sorry, she apologized. It was official. Jungkook had lost his mind and was making up some delusional things. I made my way through the curtains in the direction she had pointed to. Damn! I whispered in disbelief as I took in the godly sight of first class. It was as though I had been transported to the lobby of a five-star hotel. Pulling out of my daydream, I finally spotted Jungkook. The greedy stupid was settled in one of those chairs. God, this place is absolutely massive. Jungkook glanced over at me with a blank expression and looked back out of the window. What's got you in such a pissy mood? Nothing. You sure? Because a couple of seconds ago, a moron lied to the flight attendant about me being your girlfriend and then stormed away like a weirdo. I teased. The flight attendant must have misheard. I said girlfriend, as in my friend that is a girl. I put a clear space between them. It's not my fault she put it together. Oh, so why were you rude to the flight attendant for absolutely no reason? I questioned. I call it getting annoyed at someone who can't do their job properly. That boy seemed far more interested in chatting with you than checking our damn tickets. The poor guy was only making small talk. I laughed. Well, every service worker want to make small talk with you, don't they? First, it was that stupid waiter, then that coffee barista, and now this. Tell me, Ryan, is there a guy alive who doesn't like you? Very much amused now, I couldn't help but smile. Oh, is my little Jungkook jealous that I have more game than him? Are you sure you want to tell me I have no game? Because if I do remember correctly, a certain girl was a stuttering, blushing mess the other day when I merely touched her. Jungkook said with a teasing spark in his eyes. Please, you more than touched me. You didn't deny the stuttering though. Whatever. I crossed my arms and turned to face the window. After a couple of minutes of complete silence, Jungkook cleared his throat. Is this your first time flying? Yeah, it is, I said slowly. How did you know? Well, one, you told me a while ago, and two, because you know concerningly little about how to board a flight. I felt a light blush draw to my cheek. Shut up, I muttered. Hey, I'm not judging you. That's kinda why I was so pushy about you coming with me in the first place. I think it's about time you learn what's it like to ride a plane. He smiled. And besides, a free holiday is the least I can do after being the reason you broke up with your boyfriend. Jungkook, you weren't. Yes, I was. But it's fine. I'm going to make it up to you. With eyes full of bright confidence, Jungkook smiled. I promise you, Ryan, I'm going to make this the most unforgettable holiday of your life. He winked. Finally, Jungkook and me got into a taxi. Jungkook looked at me dramatically. God, that must have been the most painful flight of my life. Oh, why was that? I don't know. Maybe it was something to do with a certain crazy girl who nearly clawed my arm when the plane was landing. I literally still have your nail marks as proof. He raised his sleeve to show me. Well, nobody told me that for the plane to land, it basically has to drop out of the sky. Then, how the hell did you think it landed? Jungkook said rudely. Alright, Judgy, no need to be rude. Rolling my eyes at him, I focused on the deep blue sea in the distance. A cool breeze brushed through the window and whisked my hair in each and every direction. The more I looked, the more I couldn't believe it was real. I'm guessing you like it. Well, yeah, it's gorgeous. From the corner of my eyes, I could tell Jungkook was still staring at me as though he was stuck in a hypnotized state. Soon, the taxi stopped in front of a house. My eyes darted across the three-story house, taking in the massive balconies at each and every room and freshly polished windows. Oh, good, we are here. Your family owns this? I whispered in shock. Yeah, it's our beach house. I watched as Jungkook paid the driver. I raised my eyebrows in surprise as I heard fluent Greek pour from his mouth. And I would be lying if I didn't admit it was hard. Jungkook made his way over to me with our suitcases rolling along behind him. How the hell do you know Greek? Isn't that language super hard? I questioned in confusion. 1. Because I like learning languages. 2. Because I spend all my summers here. And lastly, 3. Because girls love it, he said with a wink. I wouldn't be too sure about that, buddy, I said as I gave him a sympathetic pat on the shoulder. Oh, really? Letting go of the suitcases, Jungkook took a step closer towards me. Whoa there, hot stuff, personal space, I said as I put a hand against his chest. Why? Are you scared of how I make you feel? Yeah, actually I am. Fear is a natural feeling when a weirdo gets all up in your space. Jungkook wore an amused smile on his face as though he was a cat playing with its prey. French, Spanish or Greek? What makes you YN? Jungkook asked boldly. I ignored the flutter that rolled through my chest as Jungkook said my name, and instead pretended to look up at him with an unbothered smile. Anything that comes out of your mouth isn't going to, Jungkooky. A deep chuckle dropped through his lips. Alright, fine, I will pick, Jungkook whispered as he brought his mouth up to my ear. I shivered as his warm breath touched my skin. Smooth words of Spanish escaped through his lips, stunning me into silence. I had no clue what he was saying, but it caused a dangerous feeling to turn through my stomach. Have I come out at a bad time? A loud voice interrupted from behind us. Both of us jumped in shock. Dad? Jungkook called in surprise. I found Jungkook's dad leaned back against the open glass doors while staring at the two of us with raised eyebrows. I see there is a lot you need to update me on, son. Jungkook looked awkward and was about to say something before his dad cut him off. Before the denial starts, come over here, son. I have seen you in person for over 3 months now. Jungkook's dad laughed as he held his hands out expectantly for a hug. It was so weird to see Jungkook so affectionate that I couldn't help but smile at the sight. Soon, Dad's eyes immediately focused on me. Oh, YN, you are even more beautiful in person. It's no wonder my son dragged you to Greece with him. He chuckled. Then he turned to Jungkook with an excited smile on his face. Have you finally stopped being a dump and asked her out? Dad, I have told you a million times. Ryan is my friend. Before he could finish, his dad slapped him upside the head. Well, this is the end of today's video. The next part will be soon uploaded. Thank you for watching. Bye.